Hello there! Hello, the International Abattoir podcast number 11. Today we have Lewis Schaffer, New York Jewish American guy, come here. He's made his home in the UK for a long time now. I don't think I asked him how long, but very New York style geezer, actually, not just his shtick. We briefly touched upon it the first time I ever met him and spoke to me. The first thing he said to me is he looked me up and down and said, "You're kind of fat." And I don't know if it's... I don't know if it says something about my character, but instead of being put out, I'm drawn to these people, and it's like negging, isn't it? Maybe, but I don't mind that. And he seemed a bit bored and a bit reluctant to do it, but he's just texted me actually before I've recorded this and said that was fun. Let's do it again. So that is just, I like that kind of cynical New York. I've been to New York, and I remember once I went into this pizza. You buy a slice. And it's a famous one. I don't think it's that good, but it's famous. They got a sign up that says the famous Joe's Pizza as seen in Spider-Man or something. And they had pepperoni and cheese and whatever. And he said, "What do you want?" Behind the counter like that. And I went, "Can I have the actually?" And he went, "Ah!" Like as if I know the expression a New York minute, but I mean, I wasted like 2 seconds of his time, and he just mugged me off to my face. And you sort of go, fucking hell, but you get used to it. So I like all that. I don't care. I'm not thin-skinned as I used to be, maybe. I don't feel disrespected easily. I used to. But I don't really give a shit now. So Lewis, I got him on for other reasons. An interesting guy. He has out there thoughts, and he's just quite, he's definitely not, I'm going to say a big word, proselytizing about it. He just sort of like believes what he believes. And... I initially got him on because I mentioned why. He said a specific thing to me after he called me fat about his diet, alcohol specifically. And because there was a bit more to it than alcohol's bad for you, he sort of like explained that it could trigger a primal kind of evolutionary state within the human being. And I don't know why I just said that like I was on Open University. Fucking hell, who do I think I am? But he said something. I was like, oh, it's not just alcohol's bad. It's like alcohol's bad because your body thinks this and that. And I love stuff like that. You know, when people go like, oh, babies actually sleep better with the TV or radio on in the background or lullabies on, because if it's dead quiet, as adults like to sleep, they think they've been abandoned and they can't hear you. So they wake up and cry as a sort of, those little whistle alarms used to get on your key rings. Like they just start like making this fucking noise, so you like can find them if you've put them down in the jungle, wandered off to pick some berries and lost them. So I'm like, oh, that makes sense that we've evolved to. Anyway, Lewis Schaffer. It was fun conversation. Like I said, he's there was times where he was just going, and I was like, oh, I don't think he's feeling this, but that's just how I think people are. We're all different, right? He's certainly got no obligations to like appear like Timmy fucking Mallet just because I've asked him to do this for free on a Tuesday. So anyway, I think it's a good conversation. Lots of ideas in and around that, and I think it's interesting. I definitely mentioned, I could link to him. I can't be bothered. Just pause it. He mentioned some people like scientists and sort of nutritionists, and one guy he said was South African who started him on his particular strain of diet or his dietary it's not diet, like his fuck knows. Anyway, listen, Lewis Schaffer, so let's get into it. Here we have on the screen, all the way from London, the best looking man, and look at him. You're looking amazing, Lewis. Lewis Schaffer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, round of applause.
Yeah, there's no one here. So Lewis, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, I guess. I wish people wouldn't ask me that question because it just reminds me that I'm not doing as great as I should be. I'm 67 years old. I'm not doing that good. I'm not doing that. I'm doing all right. They're not killing me. I went to the doctor yesterday to get a heart screen to see if my heart is okay.
That's so funny. Not funny. My wife went yesterday to get a heart screened because we've both had COVID like 2-3 weeks ago, or whatever they say, and
Well, what do they say? Let's get that out of the way. What do they say?
We got very ill. We got married, and one of the guests turned up and looked like death. And then,
you're going to blame him for that?
I'd love to get into viruses with you because I think I know where you stand on that, and I'm not a million miles away, possibly. But so anyway, I took her to the hospital, to the A&E, because her heart was so bad, like 2 weeks ago on a Sunday, and we went in, and the nurse went, "Have you been tested for COVID? No mask, no nothing, no social distancing." And we went, no. And she stuck a swab up her nose and put it in this machine. And went, yeah, you've got COVID. That was it. And I thought, hang on a minute. Wasn't this the zombie apocalypse disease like 2 years ago? And it was just seemed so bizarre. Anyway, she's got prolonged elevated heart rate, she feels like. So she had a heart scan or
What?
whatever.
You've been measuring her heart rate.
Well, I think it might just be me. Yes, but it's elevated,
It is elevated, but how did you know it was elevated? Could she feel her heart was being?
It wakes her up in the morning like pounding, painful, like a sore heart feeling. And I've got a friend who's got pericarditis. I don't know why. Don't want to get into that, but so I'm a bit more aware of it. I think like heart conditions seem to be on the rise, don't they? Recently, I can't think why that would be.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I just saw Bill Gates on the TV saying that any information, people who don't take vaccines should be watched everybody should be watched, and people who don't take vaccines,
I did see that,
should be penalized.
And
so
it was like a preemptive AI thing he was suggesting, wasn't it? Like we need AI to stop your posts getting out rather than even retrospectively applying the law to you. So it's now it's a bit like what was that thing with Tom Cruise? Was it Minority Report where he would do where they would catch criminals before they'd committed the crimes?
I did not see that. I don't know anything about that. But Bill Gates would. Bill Gates, forget AI. He's just using AI as the latest tool for him because he could sell stuff with AI. The truth is, he just wants to watch people. The point is, you shouldn't have gone to the hospital.
No, I do.
Because what would they have done?
Yeah, I don't know. But she was pretty worried.
She was worried, but that doesn't mean you go to the hospital if you're worried.
Have you ever took a girl ice skating or something like that, Lewis?
Taking a girl? I've never taken a girl anywhere. They don't deserve to be taken place. Well, I'm just kidding.
No, but sometimes in relationships you do shit that you don't want to do, whether it be walking around IKEA or going ice skating or having a picnic. And it was basically, in the modern world we live in, going to the emergency room is the sort of new date night for us. But yeah, so I got you on because not.
What about ice skating?
What's that?
What about ice skating?
Oh, it's shit, isn't it? It's crap. Why would anyone go like that's got want to get laid? I'll put up with this fucking awful activity. No, is that not the pinnacle of like? I mean, if you look at a man ice skating and he looks happy to be there, he's not interested in women. Men on dates, they've got that dead look behind their eyes, like I am crawling through the like the Shawshank Redemption. I'm crawling through the 2 miles of shit here to hopefully get out the other side.
No, it depends. Depends if you want something from the girl. Of course, you're going to take her ice skating. You take her anywhere. You take her to Brent Cross to go shoe shopping.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying a guy that wants to go ice skating is not interested in women. That's that. She's barking up the wrong tree.
I disagree with you because ice skating is maybe it's me. I think ice skating could be fun. It could be fun.
Yeah, I think it might be you.
Yes, probably.
But so I wanted to get on for lots of reasons. But anyway, do you know what? I just realised that's so rude of me. Sorry. Do you want to? I didn't even let you get out about your heart. Go on, finish your thought, man. I'm sorry about that.
No, what happened is I've been on basically a low carb diet for 6 years, and my cholesterol went up. So my doctor wanted to put me on a statin, and I said no. And he said, well, you have to have. I said, well, let me have my heart tested to see if I've got any heart disease in there at my age. After a year of just eating meat with high cholesterol, and so he sent me to have it done for free on the NHS. I mean, it costs only £100 in America, but it's a big deal actually. It's kind of a machine. It's one of those machines you put your go to the machine. And I had zero calcification, which is zero heart disease 5 years ago, and I've been basically high cholesterol and no pills and just eating meat. And so this is my 5th year anniversary of being on this diet, and my heart is fine. I don't know if my heart is fine. But
the thing about that diet is, all of us are 5 years older than we were 5 years ago. Now, there will be a lot of people that would, with a bit of schadenfreude, love you because you've been quite vocal, or you do not anyway hide your diet, and it's a bit out there.
Yeah.
And there would be people that would love you to have high cholesterol and heart disease as a result of your diet. Which
They
need to have a look at themselves, don't they? If you wish harm, I had JoJo Sutherland on the other day who spoke out against the lockdowns, and when she got COVID, she got the impression that a lot of people wanted to see her on a ventilator to sort of teach her a lesson.
Yes, they want people dead. That's what a ventilator is. Let's murder this person. That's where most of the people who probably died of, is ventilation and loneliness from the lockdown. I would say, yeah, they do. They want me to. I mean, the reason I post so many things about this is because I don't want to actually post my general opinions about everything else, which are really also equally offensive.
But
I don't
okay,
want to.
so this, but park that. So if that is true, what is defensive about you finding a diet that works for you and being evangelical about something? They would say, "Oh, spreading misinformation or malinformation." It's like, no, this worked for me. It's anecdotal. Do it or don't do it. And you end up having this like, because I'll tell you where I am with this. I eat a low zero carb diet.
How's zero carb?
I was about to caveat that. Eating zero carb.
Well, you're
Drinking
trying.
almost exclusively only carbs. I eat not quite carnivore, and I'm not as extreme. I don't even use the word extreme. That's how they get to you. I don't even think it's extreme, but that's what other people would say. I'm not as into it as you, because I want to get into that. Where you've gone the last year or so. I eat high fat, ketogenic. I eat butter, eggs, meat, high fatty meats.
Right.
But then I drink 10 pints of lager every day. So I don't know, Lewis. What would you call that?
I'd call that an alcoholic.
Oh no, you would, because you're American. But even
Yeah.
by English standards, I'm an alcoholic. There's no secret there.
Yeah, well, if you have 10 pints, you don't really have 10 pints. You shouldn't
6.
joke about that.
6 a day.
Do you really have 6 a day?
Not every day, but most days. Yeah, I get those big bottles. I live 30 seconds from a Tesco Express, and I go and get those 3 big, the wine bottle sizes of lager.
Yeah, you think that I know about that? I don't even know about that.
And I drink 3 of them. And then in the morning, I look in the bin and there's 6 in there, and I must have gone over there and come back in blackout and got another 3. That happens not every night. Sometimes I have to drive to gigs, but most nights. If I'm at home, I'll do that. But it's a problem.
Right. It is a problem. That is it's a bad problem. You shouldn't even joke about it, because it's a problem. Alcohol is horrible for you. It's as bad as carbs. Both of them are just totally bad for you.
I know. I'm not actually joking about it. Do you know what I am? I'm sort of like resigned to it. You know, like you can spot it's sort of like people would say, oh, if you can spot a sort of like personality trait in yourself, it's sort of like not healthy, but it's just sometimes you just got to own it and go, I've tried so many times to stop, but I just can't. And I just sort of like, oh, maybe I never will, and I'll die 20 years younger, but I don't know.
Yeah, but every time you do try to stop, you lower the amount of alcohol you're drinking, and you're better off for it. So keep on going. Maybe you got to try.
I will take that. Thank you. So you said something to me before we get into your diet specifically. When I saw you in London last, you said something to me about alcohol. And I love things that just make sense with doing the zero research, because I'm lazy.
Right.
But you know when someone says something and you think, oh my God, that is obviously true. To me, my truth. We live in a post-truth world. And you said, I don't know, do you remember what you said about drinking alcohol?
I mean, I've said a lot of things. I mean, I'm not a big drinker, so I haven't really focused on it. But what did I say?
You said that alcohol...
You look great, by the way.
You what, sorry?
You look very good.
Oh, don't. You look good. You are very handsome. But you look like... do you know what? You look like... When I watch Mad Men... You look like what I thought John Hamm would look like, but he doesn't look as good as you. You're out-hammed ham, and that's a meat product. It's processed, but it's high. It's low carbs, right?
Well, because I was pretty ugly for a couple of years there, and I never thought I was that good looking. And basically, being thin is the most important thing. So if you're going to be alcoholic, you might as well at least be thin, a thin alcoholic.
I know. If I didn't drink beer, I would be ripped. I know that. I'm so disciplined with my diet. But then again, the other thing, Lewis. So you think, oh, alcoholism is you look going for the effect of the alcohol drowning out the demons. I just think I've started to realise, should I say, because I eat so low carb, it's me just carbing. I'm carb loading, and my body, and I'm sort of. I think, I'm being strict, but I'm not at all. It's like saying I'm completely keto apart from I eat 10 cream eggs a day.
Basically, if you have a choice between being an most people who are alcoholics also eat a lot of carbs. I mean, they eat like pasta and bread and stuff like that. So if you've made your choice, which it sounds like you have, you've gotten rid of one of the two. So you're way ahead of most people. Most people are having plates of pasta, and broccoli.
Worst, isn't it?
Yeah, whatever it is. It's anything that's white food, anything that comes out of plants. So you're you've gotten rid of one of the two. So you should be like really proud of yourself.
Oh, thank you. So what
Yeah.
you said to me about alcohol, and I thought it just was like, oh, I know that's true. I don't even want to do any research in case it isn't.
Yeah.
So I wanted. You said that alcohol
Yeah.
is fermented fruit.
Rotten fruit. Yeah.
Rotten
Fermented
fruit.
rotten fruit. Yeah.
So,
Well,
so you told me
rotten
that
fruit.
when
Yeah.
a human consumes alcohol, its body, its nervous system, whatever, thinks this guy can't catch a warthog. I'm paraphrasing. This guy can't catch a warthog. He's resorting to eating rotten fruit off the floor.
Yeah. Right. Which means he's starving.
Yeah.
Which means keep on drinking.
Yeah.
Which is why alcohol is so addictive, because it's the body telling the mind, whatever, the whole system saying, you're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
But at least we're getting sugar from this.
Yeah.
So keep on eating this. That's why it tastes bad in the beginning as a way to stop you from eating it. I don't know if it's a way, but it's maybe
That makes
God's
sense.
way. Yeah.
That's the other thing. So getting into that, then do you subscribe to the thing? And I don't know the word. That sort of like plants like kale and stuff actually release bitter, bad tasting chemicals to stop you eating them because they're not to be eaten.
Well, I think all vegetables have that. That's why we have to cook them. We've got to cook the stuff out of it. That's like how they make rapeseed oil, whatever,
Oh, don't
canola.
touch that stuff.
Yeah, is you've got to totally process it. You could process alcohol too. I mean, whatever, not alcohol. You could process motor oil and make it edible with enough steps, probably.
Yeah, well, I think rapeseed oil is it canola? You call that in the States?
Yeah, it's called canola here. It's called canola in the States. It's Canadian oil. That's where it comes from.
Because I heard that was actually developed to lubricate industrial machinery. Whether that's true or not.
Well, that's true, because all oils from plants were from machines. They weren't being fed to people. I mean, even olive oil. I've heard about that they don't. It wasn't for eating originally.
Animal fats are definitely the preferable choice, aren't they?
Well, a fat is a fat, and an oil is an oil. And when they say this has plant fats, there's no such thing as a plant fat. Plants are never fat.
No, that's true. So I know that the absolute worst number one thing I gave up before I even knew anything about keto was margarine, which was apparently a turkey fattener.
But these fats were used for lots of different purposes, whether it was to polish your shoes or to put on your hair. And then people started to eat them because they figured out how to eat them. It was a 20th century. We've only been eating this stuff for like 100 years. I'm with you. You got to start somewhere. You got to look at margarine and say, this is a mistake for me to be eating.
Yeah. But the irony is, it was so marketed over here, like Flora. It was all eat this for your heart, and it would have like a picture of a heart on the box on the tub, and it would be like, oh, Flora sponsor the London Marathon, and then let's get into the whole conspiracy of the food pyramid. I know that's more of an American institution than British, maybe, but it's like you should eat almost exclusively grains and fruit and a tiny bit of meat and cheese at the top, and you're like, that's inverted, because that stuff at the bottom is easy to grow, cheap to produce, and you want to keep us sick, you want to make us sick, so then Big Pharma can get its tit out and you're stuck on that nipple for the rest of your life.
Listen, there's money involved. There's money, and it's easy. The reason we've got 8 billion people in the world is because of this horrible stuff that they call food. We have money right now, and if you have money right now, you can spend 10 pounds a day. You can eat beef and eat eggs, beef and eggs. Even less than that, it probably costs less than that.
Yeah, the irony is, if you get the 25%, the highest fat percentage minced beef, it's so cheap.
Yeah, but then you have to cook it.
That's what I was going to get into. So, when you said...
But you should tell people I'm not a doctor and that you have to go get your own medical... Whatever they say, all that lies they make you say. You've got to go see your doctor before you go on a diet or before you change your diet.
Of course you have. That's like saying you've got to go see your drug dealer before you try and get clean, isn't it? So
yes, that's so funny, yeah.
Thank you, man. So I was going to say, I did say at the start, I don't know if it got noticed, maybe I should make... What is wrong with anecdotally being evangelical about something that's worked for you? Obviously, this is called the Intellectual Abattoir podcast because this is where ideas get chopped up and slaughtered. This is not medical advice. So you said in passing, you're not supposed to eat vegetables because you're supposed to cook them. Now I know there will be vegans and vegetarians going, aha, but I eat raw vegetables, and you could say that about meat because humans cannot consume raw meat, and you would say...
I would say that's complete bull.
And you
Complete
know that
bull.
because?
Because I've been eating raw beef and eggs and other kinds of raw meat and stuff for 2 straight years. So you can eat raw meat. You should eat raw meat. It tastes so much better. It changes everything. It's not maybe that's so much better. I at the time I thought it was maybe 5 or 10% better, but I think it's maybe you could eat you just you can eat raw meat. You not even you can you should.
Exactly. This is what I want to get into because this, for
Yeah.
some reason, makes some people's heads explode with controversy, and I don't understand why.
Yeah.
So you eat almost exclusively raw meat, would you say?
I would say almost exclusively raw meat. Because I eat, yeah, exclusive. I don't. That's not my only meal. My only meal is basically I eat. Like today, I had breakfast. I had 100, whatever. I had raw beef brisket. I fry the outside of it for 10 seconds
Yeah,
aside, just to
yeah.
just be, and that's totally unnecessary too. We have the most human, supposedly our stomachs. I haven't gotten sick in 2 years, and even before that, I ate raw meat. On the inside, I don't eat raw ground beef because it's been chopped up, it's
I
been moved
know.
around,
Yeah.
it's processed. But regular beef, I eat raw eggs, like where I take the egg yolks and I separate it from the egg whites, and I eat that, and then I have some cheese, and that's what I eat. But I eat other stuff because I cheat. I lie.
No, but that's fine. But no, that's yeah, but that's absolutely fine. I mean, and someone could say the other side of the coin. Oh, I try to eat as vegan as often as I can. Sometimes I might have a little bit of this, as long as they're not completely mental about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's when people start to try and spot hypocrisies. But you don't strike me as that sort. You're not doing it for any sort of agenda, or you're definitely not doing it for kudos, because it seems like you get the opposite when you come out and tell them you eat raw meat.
but that's my idea of kudos. Yeah, I like the idea that people are paying attention to me.
Well, that's
That's
very
what.
honest. We all like that, don't we? Being
Yeah,
stand-ups, Jesus Christ.
right. So that's I don't want to say that I'm not eating it for people to pay attention to me. I I eat it for people to pay attention to me, so I don't have to post my genuine feelings about the election or about
Yeah.
Israel or about any of the other stuff that's going on in the world, and have people really hate me. I can't handle too much hatred.
Do you know what? I've had my first brush with it as a result of this very podcast.
Uh,
Did you know Flat Earth Davies?
no.
He's a flat Earth guy, one of the biggest voices in the flat Earth community.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm going to have him on to chat to him. And I didn't side with him, and I didn't rip him apart either. This isn't like, I don't want to enhance one or the other side of any echo chamber.
Yeah. Yeah.
But within 20 minutes of posting a link in the Flat Earth group, I got compared to the Nazis and called vile, and just deleted it all. And I was like, oh God, I didn't want to get. It's horrible. What the fuck, man?
It is horrible. But why are people upset about the flat Earth theory? They are upset about it because it's basically saying everything you believe is a lie. Even I don't believe in the flat Earth.
I don't think I do either. I don't want to. I don't either. But I don't believe in Allah. But I wouldn't go
Yeah.
to a mosque and call them all idiots. And they were
Well,
going out of their way to come after me. And they were all blank troll accounts. And he warned me, he goes, oh, you're going to get trolls come after you. And when you click on their accounts, there's just nothing. And it's fucking weird. It's almost like they're like plants. I don't know what's going on, mate.
right. But what do you mean by a troll account? There's like the person there has just set up a multiple accounts.
It's just an account with like not a picture of them, no personal information. And if you look through their history, all they do is post in like a flat Earth group, anti-flat Earth stuff. This account exists solely for one purpose. It's not an actual person.
Right. So that's not as bad as what actual people hate you.
Yeah. So okay. So when you say what would you say was the main? So you was eating. So let me get my math right here. You've been 5 years low carb. So you're 3 year cooked carbs or whatever, and then you've gone 2 years raw meat. What was
I've been 5 years, almost 6 years low carb.
So let's go back to the beginning of the 5 years then. So you was eating what? Was you just eating the normal diet you're told to eat of grains and carbs and all that sort of stuff?
What happened was I was fat, and I didn't know that I was fat, but I thought I was fat, and I saw I was fat, so I went on a diet, and I lost weight the diety way, which is to basically eat half as much.
Yeah.
And then to exercise. So I was running up flights of stairs. I was picking up stuff, and I lost a lot of weight. And I noticed that all my problems went away. And I didn't even realize I had problems because the doctor doesn't say, you've got metabolic disease or you've got hyperinsulinemia, or, because this is all, or you have diabetes. And I saw a video that said I've got diabetes. And it was this guy, Tim Noakes,
Right.
this South African guy. He was a trainer of something, trainer of athletes, and a doctor. And he said it. And so what happened was I started to eat properly, what I thought was properly, which was veg and green, the same thing I was eating before. Okay, low fat meat, not that much meat anyway, and all the problems that I had, which were swollen hands, bloody gums, rotten teeth, psoriasis. I had full body psoriasis. All those things that had gone away came back. I had gout. I couldn't move my shoulder. I had trigger finger. I had a million things, and they all came back, even though I was thin. I've told this story out of order. Basically, I believe that if you just lose weight, you're going to be healthy, and there is truth to that.
Healthier, certainly.
Healthier.
Yeah.
But when you maintain your actual normal weight, and you eat a horrible diet of carbs and trans
refined
fats
sugar and stuff,
and refined sugar, all the pain came back. I had sleep apnea. I had to wear a mask. It was so unattractive. And not that I cared.
No, but think about that, Lewis. We have created a society where we can't even fucking sleep. At what point do you go, maybe this diet isn't right for us as a species? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is totally true. But it is right because, we can't sleep when we're young. That's not a problem. But you can't sleep when you're old. When you start hitting 50 and 60 and 70, well, you just die, and then they don't have to pay for you. So I think there's some kind of, I don't think there's a plan, but I think there's a belief system is like we don't need older people and we can replace them with younger people from foreign countries.
Well, 100% that's happening, because it's like I see America and the UK happen to be having the exact same problem, albeit on a different scale at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So that's not. There's no, that's just can't be. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. All of us, or maybe that's just all of a sudden the mainstream media, that's all they're concentrating on is border control.
No, because every country has this problem. France and Germany and Hungary has had to put up a fight against it. It's all the same thing. Because maybe it's the body, maybe it's the planet shaking itself free.
Yeah.
Maybe the body is saying, we've got too many people, so let's kill some of the people here, let some of these people here. Or maybe it's certain religious groups that are actually winning, and their God is better than ours.
But then again, if you go that level up, that it's planetary, and I'm not opposed to the idea. Well, I had Craig Campbell on here the other week, and he was talking about. He mentioned something that I've been thinking for a while about. I think parasites are very underrated in their effect on behaviour. Like, I don't know if you're aware of toxoplasmosis, where rats get attracted to cat piss. You're aware of that. And if a parasite can make a rat wire its brain, when humans act like humans and sort of like start killing each other and doing self-destructive thing, you think, is there some sort of parasite in us making us do that? Because it seems pretty self-defeating, doesn't it? A lot of human behaviour.
Yeah, it could be that. I think it's just, every dog has its day, and every dog. I don't think maybe it could be a parasite. That's why you have to believe in these kind of things. You have to
at least explore them and at least allow it into your brain for a bit, even if you kick it out. That's what I think.
Even flat Earth.
Why not?
Why not? Is it going to kill you to think about it? But because I'm reading, my guy is Velikovsky, and he was a scientist in the last century, in the mid 20th century, and he said things that he thought was just perfectly reasonable about like how the planets got into order and where the planets come from. And it went against the mainstream, planetary narrative, and they went mental on him because they saw that they were going to lose their jobs. People are making money off of eating bad food. They're making money on it. So you tell them that it's bad for you. My father used to patent machines that for rolling cigarettes.
Yeah, I know those little machines. Yeah.
Okay, there's huge machines. No, not those.
Oh, right.
Machines.
Sorry, I had one of those little ones.
Yeah, no. These are the big ones.
Right, Philip Morris and that.
yeah, that the big companies have that can roll like billions of cigarettes in a minute, whatever, those kind of things. And I would say to him in the 1960s, I'd say to him, this is causing cancer, and he wouldn't take a he wouldn't take a second of it. He wouldn't say, "Oh, that's interesting. What do you think?"
Yeah.
No, he could not. He couldn't hear it
No.
because he was making money off of it, and he was just one person.
So I think even the people that work on the Death Star, if you said to them, you might be the bad guys, you're about to blow up all the, no, we're not. We're just, there's too many planets. We're having a planet cull. We're not bad guys.
Yeah, yeah, you're totally right. And it's like, well, which side are you picking? Are you picking Israel or the Palestinians? I could make a case for both of them.
Of course you
Yeah,
can.
you feel for the Palestinians, but that's not my team.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't see why that's another thing, Lewis.
Yeah.
Like people go, oh, there's no conspiracy. When do people get together? And I think, when did everyone get together and just automatically decide one side of the debate is wrong and one is right? Or at least, if you say, this is the other thing, get back to the flat earth thing.
Yeah.
Not one flat earth, because when I had that guy on, I didn't challenge him because I'm not a confrontational person. And I want this to be those sort of like sympathetic conversations no matter what I think. But not one person being an arsehole was a flat earther. It was the globe people was so horrible. And I find that the Palestinian people seem to be, or the supporters seem to be more aggressive and vocal, like when you had that Ricky, whatever his name was, Labour councillor, talk about slitting people's throats and surrounded by people cheering. I'm like,
that doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means you see what stage of the debate that they're on. I mean, you feel bad for the Palestinians. They've been the underdog for so long, and they think their time is coming, and maybe their time is coming. And when your time is coming, you don't, we're not going to put up with it anymore. So it isn't that. It isn't that. I think what it is the people who are against the flat Earth, they see that their time is going.
Maybe.
Which is why they're so angry, I guess.
Yeah, but again, I don't want to misunderstand about I'm not saying everyone who supports Palestine's bad. I'm saying to have very aggressive and forthright views on that side of the coin, you're not going to get much shit for it. But there's certain sides of debates that seem to be sanctioned by the machine somehow. Let's put it that way. Does that make sense? You can say no.
Yeah. That they know that they can get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, anyone who believes in flat Earth's a moron, therefore I can bully and harass them like ad hominem, and I can be really mean to them, and no one's going to pull me up on it.
Yeah. They, because people like to call people a moron. They want to get away with calling people a moron, and they do get away with it.
I've had a real sea change in the last 6 months or a year where I've really gone off it. I used to like it, but I don't do it anymore. Now I'm like this broad church of like almost. I think I might be becoming a bit of a hippie, Lewis.
Yeah, well, but it's still a lot of fun to call people a moron.
It is, isn't
but
it?
Especially in this time of war that we're in right now, there are too many people you can call a moron. So if there are too many, you can't go around like people who say to me, they're whatever it is that they think Israel is making a mistake or whatever. You can't say anything. You just got to go with it.
Can I run a little observation past you? And I think I've said it on here before, but you've brought up the Middle East. Do you have? I don't know what this means. It's just an observation. It doesn't. I'm not saying it means anything about anyone. So there's two wars going on. There's one in the Ukraine and there's one in Israel, or war, whatever, conflicts in two parts of the world. Now the propaganda is so different. Because when Russia invaded Ukraine, all the propaganda was the ghost of Kiev, this daredevil fighter pilot. It was all fake, apparently. It was like destroy. He shot down 200 Russian planes, whatever. And then all the propaganda is the Russians saying, "Oh, we're spanking them. They're surrendering." And the Ukrainians go, "No, we're resisting. The Russians are surrendering." The war in the Middle East, the propaganda is, "Oh, we're the victim." It's like, "Oh, they keep killing us. We don't keep killing them." Do you know the one? Like old school propaganda, like even that comical Ali who was going, "They are killing themselves in the streets" as the tanks were rolling into Baghdad.
Yeah.
But there's that Middle East, is that a cultural thing? It's like, we're the victims. The propaganda seems to be they want to be the victim more than their opponent.
Yeah, but basically, this is the age of victimness for the West.
Yeah.
It's a very feminized idea that they're victims.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is that that Israel is a nation state, and people are against nation states now. We're against nation states.
Hmm.
So we're against Israel being a nation state as the Palestinians fight for their nation state.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that does seem hypocritical, doesn't it? To say
the whole, the whole
like,
thing. You know what it is? Can I just say one thing?
of course.
Is that I rather hang out with somebody who is fighting for their own stuff
Yeah.
than fighting for somebody who wants to give away their own stuff. That's the left. The left are people who say, you know, we don't deserve our stuff. You take our stuff. Whereas the Palestinians and the Israel and the Jews there are saying we want our stuff.
I mean, the whole thing is with any of these sort of historical conflicts is where do you draw the line? I mean, I'm not in any way belittling. I'm not that educated. I've been to Israel a couple of times. My ex-wife's Jewish. I was out there at family weddings, and I've been there several times. So obviously it's a bit different when you've stayed in your family's house out there to just go, well, I'll give it back, just, you know, river to the sea. Of course I'm not going to say that because I know people there. But then again, just because I've got a little bit of skin in the game, obviously that doesn't mean that that's the correct way to think either.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so when you go back, well, borders do change. I mean, could Cornwall? I hope this doesn't seem flippant and crass, but could Cornwall say we're going to drive the English out and restate our claim to? But at what point do you go? Yeah, Israel was invented in the 40s or 50s, whenever it was, but it's there now. And I don't know, Lewis. I don't know. What do I know? I feel like I'm out of my depth here. This seems like grown-up politics. I'd like talking about, I don't know, bullshit flat Earth.
Well, at the end of the day, people should fight for what they have. They should be giving their stuff away.
You mentioned something there about a tendency and a characteristic of the left. I've noticed that. Do you remember those dynamo label machines?
Yeah.
I just think every person I see who's super left-wing is basically a human one of them, obsessed with labelling you. Like, I've been called right-wing. I don't think I am. But they tell me I'm right-wing, and they tell me they're left-wing. So how come they're the ones of all the power and they're the ones that go, oh, language, you know, change your language. I don't know, mate. But do you feel like you get painted into? Have you noticed that that's one side of the aisle is completely uses labels to dehumanise and discredit any opinion?
I don't hear that, but I do see it. And you are right wing.
I probably am compared to what it is now, but I never was.
I know because now people demand you're on a silo. It is anti-Israel is left wing.
Yeah, I don't get that. And I don't get why, if you, like you were saying earlier, that the world ebbs and flows and every dog has its day and we go through ice ages and then we have global warming. And then if they go, oh, the world's getting hotter, and you go, yeah, but is that caused by humans? Oh, you're right wing. It's like, what the fuck? How is talking about the weather a political? Do you know what I mean? How's that left or right?
Because the left believe in that white man is bad. And white man brought oil into this world or started burning oil. And so if you don't think that CO2 is bad, that means you support the white man. It's all related that way. At the end of the day, when there's a war, there's nothing that we both agree on. Like, do you remember in Borat where the guy says, I like hummus.
Yeah.
But this is Hamas.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody needs to. You're walking. I always have my analogy. You're walking in the woods. It's Nazi Germany in the 1940s, and you hear somebody like whistling a Wagner tune.
Mm-hmm.
You think to yourself, the Germans like Wagner. I like Wagner too, but I'm not going to sit there and ask the guy, "Are you okay with Jews?" You just think the guy likes Wagner. Maybe I should wait a couple of years before I go up to him and be his friend. And that's what it is now. You can make a list of all the things. There's a left policy, a right policy, you know, and like even things like chicken. Like what's his name's joke about everybody likes chicken. Well, you're not allowed to like chicken now in the left. You can't say I love chicken because that's a whatchamacallit. It's like with people going to Trump rallies. What are they chanting? USA, USA. And so because that's America, that's the team. I've lost my mind.
No, that's fine. And the other thing about do you know, I was doing a gig once. You just reminded me of something. You said you're not allowed to like chicken. I had a joke. It's not even true. I've never owned a dog. About owning a dog.
Right.
And I said, I'm a dog owner. And this woman went, was it a rescue? And I went, it wasn't even a real. I went, no. And she went, mate, like, you'd have thought I'd have just dropped the N-word. She just
Right.
completely forgot she was in a room full of people and started lecturing me how I should have got a rescue dog. You think I'm not going to buy a fucking puppy nowadays? Is that right, Wing?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because there are dogs that need homes.
Yeah, but Lewis, think about this. Isn't buying a puppy stopping that puppy becoming a rescue dog? If no one wants it, it's already been born, isn't it? I'm actually a hero.
But the dog wouldn't have been born unless you gave some greedy capitalist money.
So but by that logic,
Yeah.
the chicken wouldn't have been born. So if you didn't eat chicken, that you're creating life by eating chickens.
No, you're not, because the chicken wouldn't have been born. So they're saying we're saving the chickens. But the
Yeah, but
truth
how would you
is,
save it? By if you don't eat chicken, they won't breed chickens. It doesn't
Yes.
exist in the first place.
that's true. One of the most revolutionary books I read was, I don't remember what the full title was, but the tagline was "Why Animals Choose Domesticity."
Right.
And they choose domesticity because they want to live. They want to be bred.
Oh, mate, that's what we've done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Humans.
Well, you play by the rules, and they don't kill you.
Was it Voltaire that said man would rather feel safe than free?
Yeah, yeah, obviously, yeah, they
But
rather
that's
feel safe.
domesticity, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, it's the other thing is yeah, basically that.
Well, you got a fence around you, and they're tipping grain into the trough, and you think, why would I want to escape? I think that's where we are as a species.
Yeah, that is totally true. But obviously you can't stay there forever. Who's tipping the grain in? Maybe they're going to stop tipping the grain in.
Yeah, and they're starting bringing other animals in without asking you, and they start eating all your grain. But
Yeah.
so you got onto the so you went onto the low carb diet, and all of your I'm going to say some of the things you said sound like they could come under the umbrella of autoimmune problems. I realised with me, certainly, once I stopped eating refined sugar, like I had sort of like arthritis-y stuff that sort of went away, or the symptoms did.
But it's not autoimmune, because autoimmune, it means it's happening to your body whether you do anything or not. It's carbs and alcohol. They're toxins, and they raise certain hormones and stuff. So the best thing, and all the other stuff, best thing is just stay away from the whole thing. Just stay away.
Yeah.
So what happened is I went on a keto diet, and then as I'm reading more and more, I wasn't reading, I was watching YouTube videos.
Yeah,
but
same thing. It's absorbing information.
yeah, and I just said that plants are not that good for you. They're bad for you.
Yeah.
So if they're bad for you, so I thought to myself, you know what? I'll just stop eating the plants.
I don't know why I feel a little bit ashamed admitting this. I was just listening to Joe Rogan at the time with keto. He had a lot of guests on about keto, and I started doing the butter coffee in the morning. I'd put butter and a little bit of coconut oil in a black coffee and whiz it up with a little thing. Mate, I had so much energy, and I just never got. This is the secret. This is the thing what people don't understand who've never tried low carb. You never get hungry. I just make hunger cravings disappeared like instantly. Have you experienced that as well, or do you get hungry?
No, I'm hungry all the time.
Oh, dear.
No, it is. You're not as hungry because you're eating a natural food. And the point is that alcohol and sugar and carb, all the different kinds of carbs, they make you hungry. They do things to the body. They reduce the mitochondria. I mean, I'm just parroting back what.
That's fine.
What
You look good. You do look. I looked. I remember when the first time I didn't think I met you, but I saw you. Like, I'm like just on, it's like when you're in this game, it's a small world. You see flyers when people are in Edinburgh and blah, blah, blah. You look so much better now than you did, 8 years ago?
I would say that's true. That is true. So why can't other people do it too? I don't do it. I don't do it as much, but when I see people I still do it. When I see people who are fat, I tell them you're fat.
Yeah, you told me I was fat.
Did I really?
Yeah, that's okay. I don't care. That's fine. I don't see it's, the thing about being mean, well, I don't think it's mean, but how people would call it, I don't know, Lewis, we're getting to an age where if a person goes to the doctor and he said someone's morbidly obese, they'd think that's a hate crime. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, at what point do you go, it's just a fucking fact? I'm not being horrible. It's just, like you said you were fat and didn't realise it, or you didn't know you were. If someone had said it to you, maybe you'd have done this earlier, mate. Sometimes it's a service. I'm not advocating bullying, of course. I don't think it is that.
Yeah, no. People should shame people for being fat. They should shame people for just not knowing. If somebody said to me, I know I'm fat, but it's really hard for me. That's one thing. But if you go there and say, no, I'm fine,
Yeah.
It's
Big
it's
boned was always the one
yeah,
that used to
big
say when I was
bone.
a kid. What the
And
fuck?
you should say I've been lied to. I want people to know that they've been lied to about what they're eating. That they sit there and they eat a big bowl of pasta because it's made with whole grain. They think, oh, this is better for me. No, it's not better for you.
It must be a mechanism in our brain, because I'm thinking back, and everyone I ever know who sort of like all of a sudden cottoned on to the fact they're fat and lost weight, it's always like, oh, I saw a photograph of myself. It's like, man, you live with yourself all day, every day. How did it take a photograph? You'd not realise what you're walking about like. But I'm the same. I look at a photo and go, no, what's happened here? That's distorted.
Yeah.
I look bad in that picture.
But it could be incremental. People just get fat,
Yeah.
slowly. You don't notice it. They don't notice it. You don't go from a size 32 waist to a size 38 waist
No.
in a day.
But you do mentally. It feels like it's overnight, doesn't it? There's a tipping point where you go, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's like having a bad haircut.
Oh, I've always got one of them, man. That's why I wear a hat
Yeah.
all the time. But so when you went on to the low carb thing, and then obviously 3 years later, what was the impetus to go to the raw? Did you plateau, or did you just do more research, or was there a driving force?
Well, like everything, you see a video and the guy makes sense to you. It says you don't need to, and then slowly over time you just do it more and more, and then you realize it just feels better to be raw. Like you don't need to drink as much water because there's not as much salt and it's not dried. Like my beautiful son made some pasta bolognese yesterday. He's probably going to hear me say this. Made some bowl of pasta, whatever it is. Meat, and it was just. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was delicious, but you got to add a lot of sauce. A lot of sauce in order to make it taste even moist.
And so I always think this, if you look at the bigger picture then. So before man invented fire, which might have been 100 or however long ago it was, I don't know.
Right.
Did we never eat meat before that? Or have we devolved to not be able? Because I was thinking when I look at dogs, it's like, oh, we're so, I've got a little bit of a bug, you got to wash this, you got to do that, and dogs drink out of a fucking toilet. And I think, have we devolved to be such pussies, or is that big food industry convincing us we need all their preservatives and this, that, and the other? Because we can't. How could we have survived to the point to invent fire if we could never eat animals?
Yeah, well, I think what fire did, it did a lot of things. I mean, it makes us able to eat fruit. Not to eat fruit, because we can eat fruit anyway.
Vegetables,
but to eat vegetables.
Yeah.
Root vegetables, seeds. You can't eat most seeds. They're toxic if you eat too many of them. But cooking it is a form of processing. And then suddenly it became like a religion, like we're going to cook the food. But you don't need. Every country has eats raw food, or historically has eaten raw food. But we've only been cooking for like 300,000 years from what I know. I don't know anything about this. I just know that when you eat raw food, I don't feel desiccated.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've gotten enough vitamins and minerals from the thing.
So what's the biggest pain in the arse then? Can you eat out or not really?
I can eat out. I'll eat raw. I'll eat cooked food.
Yeah.
But you try to eat as much raw as possible.
So when you went to go to a restaurant, you'd order a steak blue, right?
I haven't been to a restaurant where I've ordered a steak.
Oh, Lewis, you must have a few quid, mate. You got a printer there.
I wouldn't order a steak from a restaurant. I don't know what they've done with it. I barely know what Lidl has done with the meat that I'm getting.
Where'd you get? Do you source your meat from a butcher or a local farm?
Yeah, no, sometimes from butchers, but basically, I buy roasts, so it's got a lot of meat on it.
Yeah.
And I just cut it up into pieces. I freeze it, and then I eat it. And then I unfreeze it, and then I eat it. So I don't know why it's like as shocking as it is. I guess it is still shocking.
No, it's not to me, but I want to talk to you. Well, because when you said that alcohol thing to me, and I was like, oh, he's not just talking about like. I know you know all that stuff as well. It sounds like you've consumed a lot of information. You know when people just talk about macronutrients and this and that and protein. In fact, you was talking about like more of a sort of not a philosophy, but like an overall thing of how your body goes into this sort of like famine mode because it thinks you're eating rotten fucking fruit off the floor. And that sort of thing interests me. If I can go, why are we like this? Do you know what I mean? Why do we crave so much shit? Is it because they've got us hooked, or do you think we've got there's something else?
I think. Why do we eat so much what?
Shit. As a
Shit,
species, we're addicted to eating shit.
because they manufactured food to bring out the maximum taste. They've cooked it. They've taken regular because it's
MSG, for example.
well, MSG is another one of those things which tells the body. Sodium tells the body you're dehydrated. You better eat and drink more. It isn't in the brain. It's in the actual cells of the body.
Mm.
It isn't like, oh, this tastes good. Why does it taste good? It tastes good because the body is saying you're dehydrated. Like if you put salt on meat, why does it make the meat taste better?
Yeah.
Because your body is thinking there's salt here. Your body is dehydrated. Eat and drink more. That's what it is. I bet.
Another thing I've been thinking recently is it's fucked up,
Yeah.
right, that we call it seasoning. Because a seasoned log, you can't burn a log as soon as you cut a tree down. You have to season it. So when you season meat, it's almost like we're recreating like a rotting process. It's like a nice fresh slab of beef tastes too fresh. Let's make it taste like it's been under the bed for a month. Is that what seasoning is?
Yeah. It's like a lot of times all these seasonings they try to duplicate or replicate meat by putting you don't need any of this stuff. I don't even know this. I don't even all the different flavorings that go in the thing. You don't need any of that.
What would you say then is your biggest benefit you've noticed since you've been on this 5-year journey? Number one.
Well, I mean, I hope I'm not going to get cancer from it. I mean, I hope it's preventing me from getting cancer. I have to be a bit better with it. It's given me more. I just think I'm doing the right thing. Just as the person who's a vegan thinks he's doing the right thing until he dies of cancer.
Sugar, I think sugar feeds cancer. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I just feel like I just got a gut feeling that sugar's the worst thing for cancer.
Sugar doesn't cause the cancer, but sugar causes the cancer to grow. The thing that causes the cell to be separated. It's a mitochondrial disease. This guy, Thomas Siegfried, who I've been following. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. If you go on a low carb diet, the cancer cannot grow. The cancer can't grow. The reason people are dying of all these different diseases, including lung cancer or all this stuff, is because we have a high sugar diet. I'm not saying you could be healthy and eat and be an alcoholic or or smoke cigarettes or any of the other stuff. But if you don't have, if you're thin, you're not going to, the cancer is not going to grow. I don't even know why you're asking me this. I don't know what's going on.
That's the whole point, Lewis. This is just,
is it really?
It's like a stoner conversation about the weed. That's pretty much.
Yeah, it is. I actually believe this stuff, but I know how people are listening to it.
No, but they're not welcome. They're not. Well, they are. Everyone's welcome. But that's the whole point. I mean, if you caveat things as you have by saying, I don't know, but look, it worked for me. I don't understand how that could piss anyone off because they're just swallowing what they're told by the people that designed that food pyramid. You want to believe them?
No, you're not going to. But then again, I just took this test yesterday, and if the test comes back that I've got, heart disease, I'll go, oh, maybe I was wrong.
But people, but that's the thing. You've never professed that you're immortal because you don't eat carbs. It's going to get you one day or something, isn't it?
Right. Of course it will. But I think, like you said before, there are people here sitting there. I don't know if they're praying, but it irritates them so much that I'm so alive. And I remember when I first started to proselytize this, and people were just so nasty to me. Like nasty. Like I'm a good-looking corpse. Like I'm dead on the inside.
Yeah, I've done stuff with you and seen the replies on Twitter, and I'm like, oh my god, people going, oh, you're disgusting, you must smell. I forgot to plug my laptop in. We're gonna have to wrap up, Lewis. I've just had a notification come up.
Oh, good. I mean,
that sounds like something someone would say when they're trying to get rid of you, but I can't. I don't know where my lead is. So, anything you want to plug? Where can people find you, Lewis?
They can find me. I'm going to be on GB News on Thursday. I'm going to be on GB News on Thursday, and then on Saturday.
What's your X handle or Twitter handle?
At Lewis Lewis Schaffer SCH or Schaffer.
Okay.
.com not .com at Lewis Schaffer
or
lewisschaffer.co.uk. Whatever. I don't know. I don't think. How did this thing go? Did it go? Did I sound like an idiot?
Absolutely not, mate. I hope it wasn't boring. I was trying to I just wanted to have a chat with you. We don't know each other that well, maybe, but I'm one of those people that there's no wrong answers. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, there are. For me, every answer is wrong. But
Yeah,
you
I
did
got
very
that
good.
impression. I wanted to get into that at the beginning when I asked you how you were, and I was like, oh, I'm British, and you're like a New York Jewish guy going, nah, I'm not great. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. This is such a culture clash.
Well, that's what it is. I think things are not that good. It's like, and I'm a Jew too, and so when things are good for Jews, it's going to get worse, and when things are worse, it's going to get even worser. You know, it's all bad, and
Yeah.
you can tell it's all bad the way people are talking about it right now. But so it's going to be all bad. And my health, you're asking, how is my health doing? I don't know.
No, who does? You look great. That's all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah, and you look, how old are you?
50.
Oh, I thought you were older.
Oh,
Okay.
open goal. Anyway, thanks.
Sorry about that.
That's
Thank you,
brilliant.
Justin.
Thanks,
I love
mate.
you, Justin. This
Love
was
you
better
too.
than I thought it was going to be.
I could tell, and I had Adam Bloom on yesterday, and he said the same thing. So I'm doing something right.
No, you are good. You're a good listener, and I think you're open to things. And I don't see a bright future for you. But
No, I basically did this because I had fuck all gigs in August, and I was like, I've got to do something just to be busy. It's for fun, really. We'll see where it goes.
yeah. Oh, you've done something. The fact you've done something is a victory.
Okay. Cheers, Liz.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you.